Ninja. I do not want you to downvote his video, to spam his comments with hate. You are not to post kick a ginger in his comments section. Okay, if you have to do any of those, I'll understand the last one. You can call this a response, a commentary, a rant. I think it's one friend helping another friend, 'cause I'm a swell guy. Analysis to me on some level involves a massive ability to bullshit.
Unsurprisingly, the best part about Equestria Girls is the part of the movie that has absolutely nothing to do with the core concepts of Equestria Girls.
It's to take facts and twist them and to regurgitate that final product to the masses. And I want to be perfectly clear, I applaud this. I love bullshit. Some of the best analysis videos in this fandom has been some guy bullshitting his ass off.
Emotional expressiveness and flexibility makes her really shine in her own episodes, while often seeming shallow and even annoying in ensemble episodes. Whereas on the other hand, Applejack's level-headedness and intelligence makes her a great supporting character, but tends to be ignored for the sake of situational wackiness in her own episodes.
In addition, did it feel like scenes were missing? As much as I love Pinkie Pie's funny narrations, the recaps felt like they were making up for lost time because of the filler. In some ways, it hurt the moral a lot.
Spike is his usual snarky self, even in dog form, and totally rolls with everything that happens while in Canterlot High. His personality lends itself rather well to the nature of this film, since he doesn't take anything all that seriously. Add in the fact that you can't possibly get invested either, and his asshat remarks here and there are suddenly like a breath of fresh air.
British Ninja should be applauded for this massive amount of bullshit he clumped into this last video. I've upvoted this video. My only problem with this video is I know British Ninja, unlike the movie Bobs of the World or the Lily Pete's, the fact that British Ninja actually believes the bullshit coming out of his mouth. Here, let's play this.
But if we look a little deeper into what this means for Twilight, then there's also a second meaning which is a lot more profound and subtle. This episode, in my eyes, brings the transition from unicorn to alicorn to an end. Twilight comes to the realization that just because she is an alicorn doesn't mean that she is without flaw. It's a character arc that has spanned most of this season, with Twilight trying to be as perfect as possible.
Trying to hide your feelings doesn't make you perfect. It's something a diplomat, especially a public, would most certainly do.
The old house, organizing every event possible to the point of exhaustion, going out of her way to mend old friendships, and in the case of this episode, claiming that the Princess of Friendship cannot be jealous.
Again, organizing events is something a figurehead of society would do. Mr. British Ninja, just because you're royalty doesn't mean you're perfect, no matter what your home country's propaganda is.
Going out of her way to mend old friendships.
Might I remind you that old friendship she went to bend over backwards for is a result of Spike giving Twilight a panic attack. It's an interesting narrative from Spike's #1 fanboy that you almost got away with it, smart guy, but I'm a little too fast for you.
Gotcha, you son of a bitch, I gotcha!
After she learned her purpose of spreading friendship across the world, it seems that Twilight has developed a teacher mentality, and has completely forgotten that in many aspects, she is still a pupil. It allows Twilight to come to terms with her flaws.
So what you're saying is the payoff for this atrocity of an episode is we won't see Twilight freak out anymore. Wow, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Thank God the writing staff is so inconsistent. Imagine if that bullcrap was consistently canon. Congrats, British Ninja. You just made me look forward to the next Johnny Test Writer who retcons this series by ignoring continuity.
Isn't that a great thing? I'm not one to gripe on Faust's original vision, but this episode definitely bucks the perfect princess stereotype that Twilight pretty much aspires to be.
Wouldn't that have made more sense for Twilight to see Celestia as something other than perfect? We already knew Twilight wasn't perfect. All of Twilight's friends already knew she wasn't perfect. If I'm to take your thesis statement at face value, Twilight, instead of being OCD about something in the next season, is simply going to see something as almost perfect and shrug and go, close enough. At least once. I mean, Twilight essentially aspires to be Celestia, and if she perceives her mentor as flawless, which I've never seen evidence to the contrary that Twilight believes otherwise, she'll just fall back into old habits, right?
Workplace. It's also great to see Discord back in the role of the trickster. Apart from Celestia and maybe Spike, Discord is the only person who knows how Twilight thinks.
This is an interesting hypothesis. Let's say it's true. Doesn't it feel kinda asinine in a show called Friendship is Magic that none of Twilight's friends have an inkling, a modicum, a skosh of what Twilight's thinking? You know what would have been great there? If British Ninja showed Pinkie, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Applejack, or Fluttershy being apathetic to Twilight's feelings or perceptions. Maybe if he didn't make a 10-minute review so top-heavy with knee-jerk, ironic, I'm not telling jokes anymore, while telling jokes, he might have fit that in there.
One of the biggest complaints this episode receives is that Discord going out of his way to torture Twilight is a dick move.
Whom, might I ask? I don't recall anyone else saying Discord being a dick made it a terrible episode. No, British Ninja. The analysts. The reviewers. Hell, I love Kim Possible a lot. Doesn't enjoy watching Discord act like a dick. When did the community become Dr. Wolf asking for the show to become a hug box? I say Dr. Wolf because I can't imagine anyone else being dumb enough to ask for that. And let me clarify, I say imagine, not that he did, but in the realm of imagination land, where that would be even possible. Think about how stupid your remark was. Here, let's play that again.
One of the biggest complaints this episode receives is that Discord going out of his way to torture Twilight is a dick move.
If you wrote up a fanfiction about how the analysis community bitched and whined about Discord acting like a dick, people would throw it in the garbage. And that's a hyper-reality breaking medium. And this is Lazy Writing 101.
Is the episode's humor. A lot of people say that the inside jokes aren't funny, to which I respond, no shit, Sherlock, have you ever heard of an inside joke? It's not meant to be funny as an outsider.
British Ninja's defense here is, but it's supposed to be bad, guys! It's not just an inside joke, it's the biggest abortion the fandom works ever created.
Looks great, Fluttershy. Talk about eye candy.
That's right, Neil Doujdow combined inside jokes with a running gag. Except talk about eye candy sucked up less time than Twilight in the dark. And back then, for eye candy, that wasn't even important to moving the plot along. It was just an annoying distraction. The inside joke / running gag is essential to understand what about Discord. I'll say it again, Neil Doujdow actually did a shittier job than Friendship is Witchcraft. And if you're in the audience and say, but I like Friendship is Witchcraft, you just missed the point. The show staff is expected to be a notch above some tedious hipster parody.
Exactly who the audience is. We are outsiders. The audience is placed in the same shoes and perspective as Twilight, and it's pretty genius. It allows us to sympathize with Twilight's confusion as we are kept in the dark as much as she is. I haven't seen the perspective of the audience used this well in the show since Party of One.
In Party of One, Pinky is being zany, perhaps a bit tiresome to even herself. However, the difference lies in the time used to establish, giving the audience time to empathize with Pinky's situation. Pinky doesn't come to the realization or misunderstanding that her friends don't want to be her friends anymore until 15 minutes plus into the episode. Party of One takes its time, but uses this time effectively. Pinky's opening gag of handing out the invitations to Gummy's party literally gets done before the opening credits. The table is perfectly set in just 1 minute, giving us a deeper look at Pinky, which, one might have argued, was missing from the show till this time and period. The conveyance of this message was so simple an anime fan could have done it. So, whereas Pinky gained characterization of herself in Party of One, Twilight became a parody of herself. She went from Twilight Sparkle to Book Horse. Pinky's party theme at the start of Party 1 becomes an ongoing theme throughout Party of One. That's good writing, that the first minute isn't thrown away, it's time well used.
In the library a few months ago?
Yes, but that was because we needed to. This is just because I want to.
It's literally like they dumbed down Twilight so Spike fans wouldn't feel threatened by Best Horse. Oh wait, I see why you like it, pleb.
A little while. We've been in that library for 3 straight days.
Yes, but they were 3 very productive days, even if you did take that 2-hour claw massage break.
That was the joke. Did you see that? I'm explaining it to you because the expression on Twilight's face and her tone was meant to be in a flippant manner. You're meant to laugh. Laugh, Ninja, laugh. Neil Doujdow is funny. Ho ho ho! I don't know about you, but this is amazing writing with side-splitting humor like this has totally made me empathize and be in Twilight Sparkle's shoes. Also, this is a nitpick. If they hadn't been outside in 3 days, how did Spike get a claw massage? It's not as if there are servants in the castle outside of Spike, and they hadn't been out in 3 days. I wouldn't have normally noticed this mind-numbing detail until I compared this shit-tastic episode head-to-head with Party of One. Here's the rush job. 1 minute and 36 seconds is the beginning of the conflict. Do you know why? Because even the writer knows it's getting old quick. Why else would he wield at the conflict in the episode so fast? Hell, Three's a Crowd took 5 minutes to set the stage and build anticipation.
It's Party of One. It presents both the audience and Twilight with a question. What did Discord do? Did he do anything? It keeps that dangled above our heads the entire episode.
I could say this is just my opinion, but judging by your earlier part in the video where you showed a bulk of the fandom bitching about the episode, I don't have to say, well, it's just my opinion, and it doesn't keep us in the dark, you dullard. I originally turned off this episode because it was so blatantly obvious there was never going to be a payoff. I haven't seen something so obvious since Rarity Investigates. Neil Dewsdow didn't do anything ingenious, he created a straightforward episode you didn't have to finish to see what was going to happen. As a master manipulator myself, I'm going to tell you why this is bullshit and not even the fun kind. For Discord to count on this working, he would have had to know that the other main 6 wouldn't be able to remember the specifics. Explain to me, my young Padawan, how he would count on Rarity, Applejack, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, and Pinky forgetting, which is essential to the plan working. Moreover, Pinky forgetting having an amazing time with all of her friends. Pinky forgetting having an amazing time with the God of Chaos. Party Horse, who takes extensive notes about this sort of thing, forgot this.
Suddenly becoming friends with him, it's reasonable to see Twilight jumping to the conclusion that Discord did do something.
Tell me, Ninja, is it ever explained how he got all of them to forget what happened? Because if he didn't, that's a Michael Bay-sized plot hole.
Focus on Twilight and Discord, you'd think the main 6 would be underused.
And you'd be right!
You'd think the main 6 would be underused, but that's not the case. Each one of them has their moment in the sun, either calling out Twilight's crap or simply having a good time.
So basically what Ninja thinks is that the main 6 being used properly is reference humor. That's right, British Ninja wants the main 6 to be I Love Kim Possible a lot and feels that's being used properly. But wait, there's more. Wait for this almond flavored cancer cookie. Yes sir, forget the main 6, let Twilight become Flanderlized. As long as we let Spike become marginally better, it's okay. I mean, I haven't seen blatant MRA leanings like this since the donut of a cod. Oh no, Ninja. Little girls might actually have a show to feel good about themselves, but a bunch of small, petty, childish men might feel a little insecure. And no, we have to have a level playing field, so on Spike's best day, the main 6 worst, he can look amazing. Mwah! And that's what this review is all about. A tiny little man projecting himself onto Spike.
What Princess Spike was trying to do, but now that the conflict isn't directly on Spike, it works fine, with Spike having some funny and endearing moments this episode trying to get on Rarity's good side and knocking some sense into Twilight.
And you don't find anything the least bit asinine about this? Oh sure, they use this sort of concept in Equestria Girls, but that speaks for itself. The best thing about Equestria Girls, one, besides Trixie and her peanut butter crackers, is Spike being an asshat, to kind of point out the lunacy of the whole situation. Meaning for Spike to be used properly, everything else pretty much has to suck. Look at EQD1, the main cast in the human world are all one-note characters. And in that playing field, a 5-year-old can act like a man.
So that I would happily give a 10. I'm the British Ninja, and let this be a lesson to you so-called analysts.
Yes, so-called analyst, says the casual with the 1 out of 10 grading scale. That's a reviewer/critic's tool there, rookie. Again, I do appreciate a good performance. Hell, even a great performance, and I'm fine with you being called an analyst, in the same way Dr. Wolf should be called a doctor. Sport. What British Ninja did here was entertainment. High-shelf entertainment. And I'm sure Senpai will be proud. I'm sure the Doug Walkers and the Drop Your Pants plebs and the Waka Wakas and the 2-bit comedians will eat this all up, but don't think about calling yourself an analyst, kiddo. Good night and good luck with that.